His truth will be your shield.
Okay guys, today we'll be discussing on African proverbs. Today we'll be discussing on African proverbs and their meaning. African proverbs and their meaning. African proverbs and their meaning. So before we start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Lord Burnson. So if you're coming across this channel for the first time, please do leave us a comment. So what are those African proverbs that you used to hear and you don't know their meaning? Okay, they said wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. You know, a baobab tree is a tree that's big. It has a very big tree trunk. You cannot hold it. You cannot just embrace it like that. You need a chain of maybe 30 people to go around a baobab tree before they can embrace it. So what does it mean? Wisdom is too vast that one person alone requires a collective insight and shared knowledge. So for you to have wisdom, you need to connect with different type of people. So what is the other African proverb say? If you want to go far, what you need to go alone. If you want to go far in life, you need to go alone. But if you want to go fast, you need to go together. So teamwork, indirectly say teamwork pays. Teamwork pays. Hi Elena, how are you? Okay, rain does not fall on one roof alone. That means problem, in another way, problem doesn't choose a particular roof to visit. Everybody has problems, everybody has difficulties and challenges in life. Okay, even the best cooking pot will not produce food. Even the best cooking pot, you cannot just put a cooking pot, thank you for liking, you cannot just put a pot on the stove and you expect a good meal to come out of it. It must, somebody with a good skill must put in the ingredients into that pot. That is what it means by this African proverb that says even the best cooking pot will not produce good meal. Number 5, wisdom is not like money to be tied up and hidden. What does it mean? Wisdom should be shared and not had. There are some people who know something, or they have an idea about how something can be done, but they don't want to share that. They just keep it private to themselves. So number 6, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel warm. What does that mean? A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel it warm. Meaning, neglected youths may resort to destructive behavior to gain attention or care. There are some people in a family or in a village or in a company that their performance are ignored, they don't feel valued, they don't feel involved in things, but they have to take drastic measures to see that they are also valued. Maybe they can go out of the policy of the community, out of the policy of the company. That is what it meant by wisdom Now that's what is meant by a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel it warm. You learn how to cut down trees by cutting them down. What does it mean? Practical experience is the best teacher. When there is no enemy within, the enemy outside cannot hurt. What does it mean? Inner strength and self-confidence are the greatest defense. A single bracelet cannot jingle. You see a lot of people put bracelets and put watches, bracelets and on their feet and different parts of the body. But if that thing is single like this wristband, it will not produce sound. But if there are many, it will produce sound. That's what it meant by a single bracelet cannot jingle. What does it really actually mean? Unity is strength. People need each other to succeed. Who can learn? Teach. He who can learn, teach. If somebody is able to learn, they can teach, because the absolute truth, after you've acquired knowledge, you need to share it. So study to show yourself approved. If you know something, it is difficult for you to hide it. Until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. That is very true. Until the lion learns to write or tell their own story, every story will glorify the hunter. The hunter can tell a story. I did this before I hunt this animal or kill the lion, but not knowing that the lion never did or never presented itself that cheap to be killed. Okay, that's a Zimbabwean proverb. Let us go to another African proverb. Milk and honey have different color, but they share the same house peacefully. What does it mean? Diversity can coexist harmoniously. You can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Buddhist, you can be a pagan, but we can live because we have one vision. Okay? The child who does not cry will die on his mother's back. Yeah. What does it mean? This is a Nigerian Yoruba proverb. This is a typical Nigerian Yoruba proverb. What does it say? If you doesn't speak up, you may not get the help you need. That is what the proverb means. Money can't talk, yet it can make lies look truth. That's a South African proverb. Wealth can distort truth and justice. A man who uses force is afraid of reasoning. There are some people, you want to share them ideas, they don't want to listen to your ideas, because why? They don't feel like you are in that position to reason more than them or think more than them. They always apply force. They want to control. Before you want to say or make a statement, they will, shh, do like this and like that. They will cut you short of your statement. So they don't like new ideas. That is what is meant by a man who uses force is afraid of reasoning. Violence is a weapon of those who can't win with logic. They don't have a sense of reasoning of their own. They are not independent in reasoning. Do not look where you fell, but where you sleep. What is that African proverb saying? Look for the cause of a problem, not just result. When the root of a tree begins to decay, it spreads death to the branches. If the foundation is corrupt or weak, the whole system will what? Suffer. That's a Nigerian proverb. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. This one is very deep. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. What does this African proverb really mean? Offenders often forget their wrongdoing, but the victim remember the pain. When you check your body, okay, you will see certain type of scars, but not that the hurt it's still there, but you remember immediately you see that scar, it recalls, you put your mind into a playback, a retrospection of what happened that very day and the time you had that scar. Okay, no matter how long the night, the day is sure to come. Hard time will eventually pass away. That is what it means by no matter how long the night, the day will surely come. A bird will always use another bird's feather to feather its net. What does this African Malawian proverb mean? People often rely on others' resources to build their own success. People always rely on other people's success to build what? Their own success. They rely on other people's resources to build their own success. There are people who take your idea to build their own businesses. That is what this proverb means. Okay. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one person can embrace it. That is the truth, a shared truth about it. All monkeys can hang from the same tree. There only so much space or resources. Not everyone can occupy the same slot. He who digs a grave for his enemy might as well be digging one for himself. Seeking harm for one another often brings harm back to you. Even the lion protects himself against lies. Even the strong must deal with small annoyances. No one is immune to small problems. Confidence, confiding a secret to an unworthy person is like carrying grain in a bag with a hole. What does that mean? Say confiding. When you confide to the wrong person, when you share your problem with the wrong person, the problem will what? Spread, and you will get more headache. That is why sometimes it is said a problem shared is a problem advertised. It's not a problem shared is half solved. A problem shared can be half solved, or can be a problem advertised that can bring more problems and sorrows. Okay, a feeble effort will not fulfill the self. Half-hearted won't bring satisfaction or success. Okay, having a good discussion is like having riches. Value lies in meaningful dialogue as much as material wealth. Don't think there are no crocodiles just because the water is calm. Appearance can be deceiving. Danger may lurk under calm surfaces. Who refuse to obey cannot command. He who refuses to obey cannot command. That is the truth. If you won't follow rules or respect others, you can't expect others to follow you. Other falsehood spoils 1,000 truths. One falsehood can what? Spoil 1,000 truths. Okay, let's fast forward to other great leaders' speeches. Thomas Sankara of the Upper Vote, today Burkina Faso, said what? We must dare to invent the future. That is what Thomas Sankara said. We must dare to invent what? The future. Meaning, change requires imagination and courage. You must take initiative rather than wait for things to happen. That is what Thomas Sankara meant. You cannot carry out fundamental change without a certain amount of madness. You can't carry out fundamental change without a certain amount of madness. In this case, it comes from a non-conformity, the courage to turn your back on an old formula. So what is Thomas Sankara saying here? Meaning, to make real radical change, one must be willing to break away from established norms, even if that seems mad or risky. Without patriotic political education, a soldier is only a potential criminal. Thomas Sankara is killing me. Without a patriotic political education, a soldier is what? A potential criminal. How deep is this statement? Without a patriotic political education, a soldier is a potential criminal. Meaning, people in position of power or force need a sense of moral, political, and patriotic purpose. Otherwise, their power might be misused or become harmful. Inequality can be done away with only by establishing a new society where men and women will enjoy equal rights, resulting from an upheaval in the means of production. Thus, the status of women will improve only with the elimination of the system that exploit them. Social equality includes gender equality. Isn't just about law or words. It demands what? Systematic change in how society is organized economically and socially. There is no true social revolution without the liberation of women. I hear the roar of women's silence. I sense the rumble of their tongue and feel the fury of their revolt. Women oppression is central to social injustice. Ignoring the oppression of women means ignoring the huge part of the problem, and that oppression will one day assert itself powerful. Let there be an end to the arrogance of the big power who miss no opportunity to put the right of people in questions. He criticized imperialism and reign and foreign dominion on denomination. The quote is a call for respect for sovereignty and for resisting the overreach of powerful states. Okay, let's go now to Ibrahim Traore. Who is Ibrahim Traore? Ibrahim Traore is a present leader of Burkina Faso. What are those sweet statements that he has made that are very impactful as African proverbs? In the context of African proverbs, what has Ibrahim Traore contributed in those proverbs? Ibrahim Traore said, a slave who cannot assume his own revolt does not deserve to be pitied. We do not feel sorry for ourselves. We do not ask anyone to feel sorry for us. That's what Ibrahim Traore said. Ibrahim Traore said, we are writing history and there is no room for cowardice. What does that mean? We are writing history and there is no room for cowardice. It means the moment is important. Promises and actions shape the future. Moral courage is essential and cowardice is unacceptable in the struggle. So a slave who cannot assume his own revolt is not deservable of pity. Why? Because we do not feel sorry for ourselves. We do not ask anyone to feel sorry for us. You don't need to ask somebody to feel sorry for you. If they want to feel pity for you while you are carrying out a struggle of a revolution to change your people, they need to do it from afar. Okay? So self-respect and self-initiative are essential. And one who does not act to liberate oneself from oppression, from conditions, lost dignity and right to pity. That is the truth about him. So Ibrahim Traore went further to say, they keep telling me I will die like Gaddafi, Thomas Sankara. I am not scared, and I won't regret dying for my people. He accepts the risks of fighting for what he believes is right and choose principle over fear of personal cost. There was also a leader in USA named Malcolm X. Who is Malcolm X? He's a black political figure that lives in America. Back in the days, are you African? Yes, I am African. I am an African. A proud African. I am melanin, you can see, original. I am African. So Malcolm X said a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. If you don't have conviction or value, you are vulnerable to being manipulated to follow false causes to lose direction. He said there is no better than adversity. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every loss contains its own seed, its own lesson, or how to improve your performance the next time. That's what Malcolm X says. So negative experiences are what? Valuable. They teach lessons and build strength. We are non-violent with people who are non-violent with us. So if somebody is at peace with you, you learn to be at peace with that person. If the person wants to show you that they know how to dominate or oppress you, you need to also come out in that shell. Don't just sit and let them do whatever they want to do. Matwingo. No, he is Chinese. I am not Chinese. Please, I'm not Chinese. Guys, please help me with subscription. Okay. So what does that mean? Say, a race of people is like an individual man until it uses its own talent. People pride in its own history. We are being robbed of our history. As Africans, we are robbed of our history, our culture. So we are a race of people who have been robbed of our history, our culture, our pride, and nearly everything. But we keep pushing. We have never asked that we want to be dominant. Yes, the only thing for us to have equality in the world is to try to be dominant, not to be asked to say we want to be equal. Because if we want to be equal, if they are here, we'll say we want to be here, and maybe we'll end up being here. So if we want to live well, we need to say we want to be dominant. So in the act of being dominant, maybe we'll be here or here at the same level, so that we'll be fair as well. So a race of people is like an individual until it uses its own talent. Talent take pride in its own history. Okay, we take pride in our own history, expresses our own culture, affirm its own selfhood. It can never be fulfilled itself. You get me? There was one leader also in US named Marcus Garvey. That's a Jamaican. See, what does it say? Say, if you haven't confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. Can you hear that? If you don't have confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. That is so powerful. So powerful. Very powerful. If you haven't confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. with confidence you have won even before you started. That's what Marcus Garvey said. Marcus Garvey was a black uh, American politician that was sensitizing African. There's even a school now in America known as the Marcus Garvey movement. Like there's a man called Omar Johnson that is following up that for to see that African American benefit from that school, and they are teaching them all the African cultures, the African way of life. So it is something that is beneficial and useful. Marcus Garvey was somebody that was very intellectually sound. So he said, a people without a knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Can you hear that? If you don't know your history, if you don't know your culture or your past, you are like a tree without what? Without roots. Understanding where you come from gives strength, identity, stability. Without roots, one is what? Easily shaken or lost. We are going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because while others might free the body, but none of us can free ourselves but our mind. Remember when Bob Marley sang this song, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for intermit energy, but none of them can solve the perfect. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? But some say it's just a portrait. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you have to sing the song of freedom? So it was Marcus Garvey who made that statement, and Bob Marley uses it in his music. What does it mean? It means that liberation is not only physical or legal, but mental. Mental liberation is the highest. Okay, we are going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because while others might free the body, but none but ourselves can free our mind. How do we free our mind? Through education. Sound mind. Be transformed by renewing your mind. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. So Bob Marley took that statement from Marcus Garvey and put it in his music. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, because while others will free their body, you are in charge of freeing your mind. A black skin is not a badge of shame, but what? But rather a glorious symbol of national greatness. Oh my God. I love to be black. Black identity should be what? A source of pride, not shame. Reclaim the narrative around race. There was one person that the world loved so much, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a boxer, and he lived a well-fulfilled life. Why? Muhammad Ali said, float like what? A butterfly, sting like a bee. Be grateful, be light, avoid unnecessary harm. What? But be effective and powerful when you attacked. A style, agility plus power. Use style, agility plus power. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now and live the rest of your life as what? A champion. Meaning discipline, sacrifice, perseverance, greatness demands enduring hardship now for future. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish what? Nothing in life. Service to others is a rent you pay for your what? Room here on earth. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Meaning our lives have meaning when we have others being valuable in life. Shaka Zulu from South Africa. Never leave an enemy behind. It will rise again to fly at your truth. Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu. Never leave an enemy behind, or it will rise again to fly at your throat. While dealing with enemies, leave none, because even small neglect threat can come back and hurt you. That is what Shaka Zulu said, the great South African warrior from Bantu. A leader must be what? A chief. He must be fair and just. Leadership requires more than power. It requires equity, justice, being respected, not just feared. Shaka Zulu. Have you ever heard of Shaka Zulu from South Africa? He was a warrior, a strange warrior. Shaka Zulu was powerful. He was feared. People dread him. The whites dread him, but he was loved by his people. Shaka Zulu. Do not rejoice at my defeat when I fall. It is only the first step to victory. Setback are not final. Defeat may be part of the process towards eventual success. Zulu power lies in the chest of the warrior. Zulu power lies in the chest of a warrior. True strength is internal. Courage, bravery, not just weapons or numbers. Make your enemy live long so he can see your success. It's more satisfying or more impactful if people who doubted you can witness your achievement. Success becomes more powerful when visible. Imhotep. Imhotep is one of the ancient Egyptian Plymouth architect physician. He is the founder of medicine. Imhotep, he was a black man from Africa. You get me? There are very few direct recorded proverbs or saying attributes to him, but people like Socrates, they came under Imhotep. They came to learn from what Imhotep wrote and laid down for medicine, and they took it out of Africa and went to Europe. Imhotep is a black man. He was the one who drew the pyramids of Sakau. Okay. So African proverbs are things that you need to learn, so that when you hear somebody speak them, you can feel that sense of Africanness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. Education is expensive. Try to be ignorant, and you see what will happen. The cost of being uninformed or uneducated is greater than the cost of being educated. The wise man never takes a step too long for his leg. You are not sure of the next step, so you need to take closer steps. So that is what it means. A wise man never takes a step too long for his leg, meaning you need to know your limit and don't overreact. That is a fact. Okay? A wise person doesn't fall down the same hill twice, because you know the spot where you slipped the first time. If you slip now, the next time if you're coming through that route, you know that I need to avoid this spot, or I need to position my feet like this for you not to slide and fall. Respect is more important than admiration. Some people can admire you, but they don't respect you because they have familiarity complex with you. So respect is more important than admiration. Being honorable and showing respect matters more than being idolized. When deed speaks, words are nothing. When good deeds speaks, words are nothing. Lap 7. How are you, dear? Please subscribe for me. Okay. If you offend, ask for pardon. If offended, forgive. Meaning, good relationship require both humility and forgiveness. There are some people who doesn't forgive. They only want to be nursing, and their hearts are getting heavy. If a man is destined to drown, he will drown even if a spoonful of water. This is common. If a man is destined to drown, he will drown even in a spoonful of water. Fate and unavoidable destiny cannot be easily escaped. Do not call the forest that shelter you a jungle. You cannot. It is a mistake for you to call the forest that shelter you what? A jungle. Don't despise a place or people who have protected you. One camel does not make fun of another camel hum. Don't mock others for trade you only have. Don't mock others for traits or characters. Don't laugh at others who are sick when you are also sick. It doesn't make sense. Okay. What one won't eat by itself, one will eat when mixed with other food. In group, we might accept things along that we might reject individually. Thank you for watching for today. Thank you for watching. Good night.